That was awkward. Why would I say that? Why would I say that? Okay. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into this video where I'm going to show you 3 of my all-time favorite pancake recipes, soon to be your favorite pancake recipes. And make sure you stick around for the last one, because the last one is just... that's all I have to say. Yeah, if you have any questions, just leave them somewhere. Great, thank you. Great. See you at the end of this video if you make it there, which I would really appreciate. Thanks. So I'm adding 1 cup of buckwheat flour, a tablespoon of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Now I'm stirring that up together. You could even use spelt flour or regular flour for this recipe, it doesn't really matter. Buckwheat happens to be gluten-free, so yeah. Then I also added roughly 1 teaspoon of vanilla and a cup of plant milk. Just stir that up together. Once again, you want to have it be lump-free, so make sure you really scrape down the bottom and the edges. Now I'm adding roughly half a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. You could also opt for lemon juice, but this will help balance out the flavor of the baking powder and baking soda and make it even fluffier. You can really tell how it helps the rising agents react. Now I'm adding a small handful of chocolate chips and to a preheated pan on medium fire, I'm adding a small tablespoon of coconut oil. You could also use any high smoke point oil really, but I happen to prefer coconut oil for this. Then I'm adding banana coins. I sliced them in about 1 centimeter thick. After you fried them for a while, turn them and then they should look golden brown like so. Now I'm adding a tablespoon of coconut blossom sugar, but you could also use agave or maple. This will help them get even more caramelized and a little bit more sweet. It's not mandatory though. Now I'm adding about 1/4 cup of batter at a time to a preheated pan. This pan is non-stick, so I'm not using any oil, but if you're using a pan that does tend to stick, you might want to cover it lightly. Once the pancake is kind of bubbly and dry on the surface, you can flip it and then cook it for another 30 seconds. Now I just layered them all up together and the banana coins are also ready, so I went on and added those to the pancakes as well. Now I think this is a really satisfying shot because it looks really delicious. So here you are. You could also add walnuts to these or any other nuts. I just tend to top it with peanut butter and granola. I think Chunky Monkey actually means chocolate, banana, and walnuts. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, you know, I'm not that conventional. Is that the right way to put that? I'm not quite sure, but yeah, peanut butter. There you go. Just slowly waiting for this shot to be over. Okay. Almost there. Yep. Now this is pretty classic. You can pretty much do the same thing as we did for the Chunky Monkey pancakes, which is a cup of flour, a tablespoon of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. I'm just adding a teaspoon of cinnamon additional to this batter. And for this batter, I actually used coconut milk, which is really creamy and just gives it a really nice extra bit of flavor. Mix it up again, and I'm very random with the order I'm putting things in, as you can tell. I know that there's a lot of people saying that you shouldn't do that, but again, whatever. So yeah, I'm doing pretty much the same thing, just cooking them in a non-stick pan over medium heat and adding 1/4 of batter time and flipping them once they start getting bubbly. However, before I flip them, as you can tell, I'm adding a few blueberries. Yep, stacked it up again, and I just added a lot of fruit, a lot of fruit, topped it with some more cinnamon and a drizzle of maple syrup, because you can't go wrong with that. And then I served it with granola again. Moving on to my favorite pancake mix, it's this savory one. So I'm adding 1/4 cup of chickpea flour, which adds up to 5 tablespoons to a bowl, as well as a teaspoon of baking soda and the same amount of water, which is 1/4 cup, and then I mixed that up and also added 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. Since this is savory, I'm also adding a good dose of black pepper and salt. Mixing this up again, and then I chopped in, well, cut up, to be completely honest, some scallions into the batter. Now I'm gonna make, wow, beautiful singing skills. Almost as good as my chopping skills, so yeah, mix this up. And yeah, I'm gonna cook this all at the same time in a little bit of olive oil. This is not mandatory if you're using a non-stick pan, but it just helps to get it a little bit more buttery and crispy, which, I mean, come on, can't deny we all love that. So I'm gonna add this to a heated pan and just gonna gently wait until it's kind of dried out. I'm also gonna flatten the edges out a little bit because it didn't look that great. And once it's bubbly and kind of dry, you can flip it. Put my thing, now flip it and reverse it. Now I'm gonna Alright, so now I'm adding 1 slice of vegan cheese, which I chopped in 3, and I'm flipping this really gently, and then I folded it once it was kind of crispy and cooked. So I did go ahead and add an extra dose of sauteed vegetables, as well as some crispy vegan bacon strips, I guess, because it just gives it that extra bit of fa-fa-foom, I guess, and it's also really yummy and a lot more filling. And then I also added some avocado to the side, but this is definitely not mandatory. It's really yummy on its own. You could also amp up the recipe, and then it's also still really filling. However, if you do want to know how to make this, keep watching. Alright, this is really simple, guys. I basically just fried up some vegetables. In this case, it was mushroom with olive oil on high heat until it turned crispy, and I also added some vegan bacon strips and spinach. And then I added a tablespoon of tamari sauce, which could be just soy, and served it with avocado. I feel really uncomfortable right now because I have this feeling that everybody can hear me talk, and the thing, talking to a camera, is like, it feels like it feels like you're talking to yourself, which I'm very familiar with. I know the procedure, but usually when I do that, I make sure there's no people around to accidentally chip in on that. But today is a special day, and today you made it to the end of this video, and today I'm thanking you for that and letting you know that if there's anything like a request, you can just let me know, and I will most likely not listen to it, because that's what I do. I do not listen. If this was an interview for whatever job, I would be hired. I think this is the point where I exit.